Okay, all right. It is 7:06 p.m. on Thursday, the 26th of May. And I will call to order the meeting of the Richmond Art and Culture Commission. We will begin tonight's meeting with a roll call. Commissioner Wiley, I am present. Commissioner Kirk,
Present.
Council Liaison Melvin Willis,
Absent.
Arts and Culture Manager Winifred Day,
Present.
Commissioner Linson Bolio,
Absent.
Commissioner Tom Harriman,
I'm here.
Commissioner Philip Mijas,
Present.
Commissioner Emily Layton.
Absent.
Okay, thank you very much for all of that. Our first action item is to approve. Let me start by saying I have been having some trouble with laryngitis for the last couple of weeks. I'm at the end of it, so that's why I sound this way. Let's begin by approving the minutes for tonight's meeting. Are there any changes or revisions that anyone wants to make to the minutes? I'm sorry, to the agenda for tonight's meeting?
Flo,
Yes,
if you don't mind, I'd like to add that our guest, Keno, is here, sitting in on the meeting, so we know that she's present.
okay, I guess you just, because we said hi to her a little while ago. But for the purposes of the record, what is the full name of this guest?
Keno, I don't know her last name.
Okay, well, welcome Keno to the meeting. Everyone be advised that she is present tonight. Is there any other change to be added or deleted from the agenda? Okay, I am calling in tonight from my phone because my computer is not working, so I cannot see all of you as a group. So by show of hand, by vote, can I have if you will call your name and say if you approve the agenda for tonight's meeting or not? Commissioner Mijas,
Yes.
Commissioner Harriman,
Yes.
Commissioner Kirk,
Yes.
as do I. So that is unanimously approved for tonight's agenda. Are there any, we'll move on to the next item, which is the minutes of our previous meeting on April 28th. Are there any changes, revisions, deletions, or additions to be that anyone wants to add to those minutes? All right, you will have to speak up since I can't see you. No one is speaking up, so that means that I will do again a vote, and you give me your yes or no. Commissioner Mijas, are you approving the minutes?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Commissioner Harriman,
Yes.
Commissioner Kirk.
Yes.
Great, thank you very much. The next item on our agenda is public comments. Winifred Day, is there anyone that is here to make public comment?
Yes, I have public comments from Cordell Hindler that were sent on Friday, May 20th. Hello, Winifred. I have some comments for the record. Number one, I will be talking to the Youth Council to discuss filling the vacancies for the Arts and Culture Commission. Number two, the Arts and Culture Commission is invited to a performance of Sordid Lives on June 3rd through July 2nd at Masker's Playhouse on Fridays and Saturdays at 8 o'clock, $30 per person. Proof of vaccination is required. Sincerely, Cordell.
Great, thank you very much. Is there anyone else waiting to make a public comment? No?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on to the discussion items / vote. the RACC restructure 2022-23 fiscal year. I'm not sure whose agenda item this is, Ms. Day, who is leading this discussion on these items?
I think I will be the one unless anyone else wants to. It's something that we need to discuss. Because
I'm
it's,
sorry, when you say when anyone else want to, how, you put these on the agenda,
I
right?
placed it on the agenda. Mhm.
Okay, so would you mind leading the discussion of these items?
My pleasure.
Thank you.
So at our last meeting, Flo shared with us that for a variety of reasons, she's going to be resigning, which leaves us in a position where we have to discuss next July, which will be here before we know it, and how we're going to move forward. So that's the reason why these items are on this agenda. At the Public Art Advisory Committee meeting 2 weeks ago, we began the discussion, and we wanted to pick it up again this evening. Basically, with Flo as the chair resigning, that means one, that we need to consider who the next chair will be. But also we have to look at the total number of people who are participating and how it impacts a variety of things. If there's only 5 people, then one of the questions is, do we need to have 2 meetings every month? Since that was kind of one of the complaints that some people were sharing, that 2 meetings per month is a lot. So part of the idea would be to combine the 2 meetings, with the first hour being a PAC meeting or RACC, whichever we decide, and the second hour being the other group. And sometimes we have more information or more things that need to be discussed with one group compared to the other. And then at the end, we need to be able to make some kind of decisions as to how we're going to proceed. In August, City Council does not meet. And last year, we did not meet in August, so we want to continue to not meet in anytime City Council is not meeting. The idea is that we are aligned with their schedule and need to make some adjustments formally so that we're clear that everyone is okay with that. So until we're able to get new members and we have larger participation, the suggestion is that we go with what the new ordinance was suggesting, or what we voted on was to have the the Art Commission is of org chart would be at the top, and then the Public Art Advisory Committee is a committee of the Arts and Culture Commission. So as an ad hoc committee, it doesn't necessarily need to have a full 2-hour meeting. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. So I just needed to share that information, see if there's a way that we can work it out so that we can just have 1 meeting a month. As long as people are able to read all of the documents that are sent in the in-between, then it seems as though we don't have to talk about every single item that's, happens during the in-between times. So this is open for conversation, comments, questions. And then we don't want to take more than 20 minutes or so to talk about it, hopefully.
Yeah, ask a question. You
Yeah.
said you have discussed these things already with the Public Art Advisory Committee.
We had,
So that means we only need to hear from Commissioner Kirk tonight because everyone else has already contributed their ideas.
it could mean that, but you might also want to hear what Tom Harriman and Phil Mias have to say.
Sure.
We have 20 minutes, so maybe we'll start with Melissa and then go from there. I'm sorry. Phil, is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Well, that sounds fine to me. I think maybe, I don't know how to bring this up, but I think we need to talk more deeply about the future of RACC if we can't bring in new members. And I am selling my home at the end of the summer and I'm not going to be here either. So I just feel like we need to, so I don't know if this is the time, maybe it needs to be later, but we need to talk about this.
Wait a minute, what did you say? It went kind of fast.
You heard her.
I am selling my house at the end of the summer and moving out of Richmond.
Oh, wow.
And if we can't get any more new members, then why are we even, we need to talk about what we're gonna do, because when is that gonna ever happen? You know what I mean?
In
If-
January after the election.
After the election, okay. So I'm probably not gonna be here in January. So if we're just waiting for that to happen, maybe we should just, I don't know. We can't really operate without new people, so I don't know how to discuss that, but
Well, actually, as far as the floating quorum is concerned, which was one of the things that was one of the items that was approved for as part of the policies and procedures, the quorum is based on the total number of people who are meeting, not the total number, not the higher limit of 15 people. So as long as we have at least 2 or 3 people, hypothetically, we can continue to meet. Hypothetically, I'm just saying.
right, because not if we have a whole other grant cycle and it's only 2 people. But that would be challenging. So anyway, I'm just concerned about that, but I don't know what the answer is.
Phil? Phil, you had your hand up first and then Tom.
Oh, when Melissa said what she said, that just kind of took my question away. Because accordingly, she would move up in Flo's position, being the vice chair automatically. But then it's a moot point right now, I guess, except for a month or 2 or whatever.
Well, Linson did agree to support the chair position if needed. Tom?
Good, good.
Oh, I just,
It doesn't require an election or anything like that. I mean, if we have a vice chair, how do we overlook the vice chair? Oh, you're saying to do this after Melissa leaves?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay. I got you.
and Melissa's giving us her notice now, so kinda, sorta. Are you giving us your notice now, Melissa?
Well, I am moving out of Richmond, probably selling the house in July, but I mean, who knows? Maybe it won't sell. I'm pretty sure it will, but you know what I mean? So I'm just letting you know that when I move out of Richmond, I assume I'm not eligible anymore. So and that'll probably be sometime around July or August. But I don't know. So I
So,
am letting you know.
Are you saying that possibly in July you would, when Flo gave us her notice for the
Yeah,
30th
July.
of June? So are you giving us your permission to have you as the chair for at least 1 month? Or what are we're not sure yet.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how that selling goes. Like I'm planning to get it on the market in July. And I don't think it's going to take very long to sell it. So, but I don't know what the policy is in terms of people not being Richmond residents anymore, like
you
being
don't
on
have to live in
body.
Richmond.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Okay, so.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know that. Maybe we can discuss that. What? Sorry. What's happening?
I'm not sure. Phil?
I was gonna say, probably moving to 1 meeting a month would be a good idea. And you could actually have one agenda. And the items that mostly affect RACC or mostly affect PAC. It seems to me that with the numbers here that, I mean, everybody can participate in any of it. It's not like we're real separate bodies anymore. Or at least we wouldn't be. And that would kind of help having a few more people to discuss things, you know what I mean? I don't know, just a thought.
Well, I love the idea of having only one meeting instead of two, but I think that the PAC has such a specialized function that it's going to ultimately need a separate meeting because PAC discusses different things than the RACC. It's still going to be two separate bodies, and I wouldn't want to see the PAC totally dissolved and absorbed into the RACC.
I agree, Tom. And what I was thinking more was we could have special meetings anytime we want. If there's a particular project that we want to really focus on.
Mhm.
It may or may not come up in the general meeting, but I don't know. I'd be open to doing a special meeting occasionally on a particular topic, and a PAC topic may be exactly that, you know.
So I think we ought to have a combined meeting in July and then reconsider the issue for the future. And I also just want to add that I think when the mayor's seat changes, that it's going to be easier to bring people into both of our committees.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And another point, so right now we have, if you will, the Zoom invitation reserved between now and the end of the year for both the second Thursday and the fourth Thursday. So in an ideal world, our new meeting should be the first Thursday of the month so that we can get most of the business taken care of at the beginning of the month, and then have that second Thursday available as needed. But if we don't need to, then we won't, but we won't have to go through a whole setup of trying to get a Zoom, meeting. It's already reserved.
So on
So
on a practical basis, that would work better for you, just structurally.
I think that would make a lot of sense, because if the decisions could be made at the beginning of the month instead of the end of the month, usually that's a good thing. And when we look at the NPA mini grants that are coming up soon, once again, to have the majority of the activity take place at the beginning of the month, it reserves that second Thursday or the fourth Thursday for business like interviews or, any kind of special presentations or certain things that.
Sound back on. You dispatched the meeting?
No, I'm in the meeting.
Oh,
Okay,
I just don't know that you're.
so if you're not speaking, you could mute yourself, Tom. Unless your wife wants to join us.
Hey, Gretchen.
Okay, anyway, I guess he'll be right back. Okay, so I think we need him in order to have our meeting, though. We have to have 4 people.
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah,
There
here
he
he comes. Here he comes. Okay, good. Sorry about that, Tom. Okay, so Flo, do you have any comments?
I just want to summarize.
Yeah.
So to follow the points of the agenda items, no meeting in August. Begin meeting the combined meetings in July. 1 meeting a month, and that is moving to the first Thursday for that 1 meeting. I'm not sure what needs to be said about the RACC restructure. Is it that until Melissa officially resigns, she goes to chair for the July meeting? If at that July meeting she resigns, then something else happens. So that's clear. Everybody is in agreement with, that's what, we don't need anybody's permission to do this, do we?
No, we have to agree that it's going to be accepted, though. But one thing that you mentioned, I want to correct, it would be the second Thursday.
Oh, right, the first meeting,
Yes.
which is the
yes,
second Thursday.
Yes. Okay.
All right, do we need to take a vote, Winifred?
On B, C, and D, based on what you just described, and then we're going to leave A
For
for,
later.
yeah.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the changes we have to combine the RACC meeting to one meeting per month, to begin those meetings on the second Thursday in July and continue thereafter on second Thursdays, and no meeting in August to align with the city council's recess. May I have a motion on that?
So moved.
So moved, may I have a second, please?
A second.
Okay, all of those of you in favor, please raise your hand, either physically or on the what you call them. Okay, that is unanimously approved, and we will move forward to the next item on our agenda, which is committee reports. I'm sure all of you have seen I hope all of you have seen the many wonderful progress reports that have come in from the grantees. They're doing such outstanding work. Is there any comments that anyone wants to make about the information that Winifred has shared with us about what these organizations are doing? I'm opening the floor for that. I think, did someone have their hand up?
Tom,
Yes, Tom.
you have to unmute yourself, Tom. Thank you.
The two grantees that I looked at, they're both very impressive projects. Robin Lopez is working with young people and interviewing artists and making videos about that. And Mark is at the Police Athletic League, is training people to make music, and then they're going to make videos about that. So it's really a fun thing for the kids, and giving them skills that they wouldn't get in the public schools. And it's a very, both of them are very worthwhile projects, I think. I was really pleased with them.
Yeah, so was I. Thank you for that. And this is our second year, I believe, working with both of these grantees, and we seem to have gotten into a rhythm with
They know what they're doing.
yeah, that's another way to put it. Any other comments from anyone else?
Well,
Uh,
I haven't,
go ahead.
sorry, I haven't heard from Anthony Edwards, and I've been out of town, but I will check on him because he hasn't really delivered anything as far as I can tell. But I will check with him.
That's the project about writing about the trails in Richmond.
Yeah, yep. And I know he got, right when he got that grant approved, he got a new full-time job. So I think that was a big part of what, and then he was having trouble getting in touch with people, but I think he finally did, but I'll check. I haven't heard an update recently, so I'll check.
So Winifred, how would you like that to just, can you circulate that, whatever she finds out in whenever she turns it into you? Or
Yeah.
does that need to wait for the next meeting?
No, I'll circulate as I've been doing. As soon as I receive them, I've been passing them on to everyone. I just received some today. That's the reason why you may have gotten them at the end of the day today, just so that you could see that people are responding, even though it may not be as quickly as I'm hoping. As long as they respond and provide us with some information, that's the main thing. One of the things that I'm going to work on is with the IT department, or KCRT, to also give them all of the information that's passed on to me. And we're talking about, instead of a little PowerPoint presentation, they are more sophisticated with their ability with KCRT, the cable channel, to take that information and put together some kind of package, if you will, because it's a lot of information, and I don't want it to be a whole hour or more. I think there's a way that they can, combine it so that it will be maybe a 45-minute kind of a package, if you will, with samples of what everyone's doing. And wow, it's pretty amazing. I'm just really impressed. And
So would that air on KCRT?
KCRT, Well, it could, most likely, I mean, if they're going to be the ones putting it together, then they would absolutely have the first right, if you will, to share it on KCRT, but we have several other platforms that will be able to put it on as well.
Great.
So,
Are they the same people that are doing the inventory?
well, it's the same department, but it's a different group of people.
I mean, how reliable do you think they'll be?
Well, that's why I'm talking with Sue Hartman, who's their boss, you know, I'm passing on the samples to her so that she can see what we're trying to accomplish, and she passes the information on as a task to her staff. So
Cool.
it's top down, not, and also I've been sharing the information with staff so that they can see what's going on, and they're pretty excited as well. So I don't think we're gonna be able to have, you know, an exhibit in one place this year. So I just thought that this would be the second best way to do it. And, but to put it together, a PowerPoint presentation, I don't think that would do justice. Plus, there's a lot of videos and a combination, a whole lot of different kind of media that needs to be included. So that's something that we'll work on in July and August, quite frankly. Okay.
Excellent. I think those are really, really great ideas. Let me ask you a question. When you send out things, does Councilmember Willis get them? Is he on the list when you send things to the commissioners?
I usually he is, but I need
Oh,
to make
okay.
sure that he is always, even though we would like him to be more responsive. Maybe he will be by being able to see all the great things that are happening. So
Right. Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you for that.
thanks for pointing it out. Mhm.
In the absence of, I'm gonna move on if that's all right with everybody.
Yeah, I have the report for Commissioner,
Bolio,
yeah,
okay, thank you.
it's the Public Art Advisory Committee report. And it's just a summary of our last meeting. We met on the 12th of May. And we had an information presentation about the art inventory that was given by Brian Bland, who's the photographer for KCRT. And he's also taking the photographs and uploading them. And basically, it is going to be an internal project. They being Sue Hartman and her team, they just have permission to manipulate internal information that we can't give vendors the same access to. So that's what we have discussed is adding more photographers who are not currently in a pool of accepted photographers, if you will. Once they're internal and they've been on a special list, then it'll be easier to have other photographers work on this project, but they have to come out of a department, not being independent. We also had a presentation by Kyle Lamb, who was an intern last year. I think he's an employee now. He works on the Transparent Richmond dashboard, which shows highlights of different projects that are going on around the city. And he's working on a mapping project so that we'll be able to see all the artwork that's listed in the inventory, which is about 200 pieces right now, have a little flag on them. And each flag has a little thumbnail picture of the art, you know, the title, the basic information about each piece, where it's located, longitude, latitude. And that's the information that the photographs get loaded into. And once all the photographs have a place in the inventory, then we can do more manipulation in terms of separating it out, sorting it, you know, by murals only or sculpture only or certain neighborhoods or whatever. So that's moving along, and it was the first time we were able to have a presentation so that people were able to see what these guys have been working on quietly for 9 months now. The next presentation that we had was by the Senior Center mural restoration team, Spark, out of Los Angeles. They came and let us know some of the challenges that they've had in the past. And I shared this with Phil and he pointed out to me that you're absolutely right, Phil. You know, they gave us a list of all the things that they've been working on since 2018 to do the restoration. But right now they actually do have a contract. 2018, 19, 20, 21, they did not have contracts in. So for them to say that, you know, they've been working on it without a contract, nothing I could do about that. All I could do is what we have been doing. They are under contract. Right now, I just received the insurance from the installer. So we have an encroachment permit that we need to apply for so that if there's any traffic underneath where the mural is being installed, it's coned off by staff, and there's a whole special process for encroachment. So that's where we are now. So hopefully within the next 30 days, that the mural will be up. I believe I passed on to everyone within the last 30 days the samples of what the restored murals look like, and they're beautiful. So we're really excited to be in a place that we know that, one, they're done, and two, they're going to be installed. The next item was a voting item for the Public Art Master Plan, RFP. We got one response from Barbara Goldstein's team, and she's the person who pretty much has written the book on public art as a case study for a lot of people to follow. She worked out of Seattle, built a program in San Jose, Seattle, a lot of other cities around the country. So she and her team basically presented a proposal for more than what we needed or what we could afford. So she came down 10,000 and we came up 10,000. So 35,000 is the number that she has agreed to. So over the next 30 days, I'm going through the process of everything I need to go through in order to present it to City Council for approval before they go on their vacation.
What is the term of that contract?
The term?
Uh-huh.
Well, you know, that's a good point. Initially, we were saying 6 to 8 months, and basically, I think it needs to be a 12-month contract.
I think so too.
In order to not feel that they're rushed. One of the things that they want to do is what they call these pop-ups, so that they will go to like farmers markets and festivals and different kind of places where there's automatic crowds that might not be the same people who are going to respond to our, you know, call for public outreach for public art projects on Zoom. So it's like go to the people instead of expecting them to come to us. So her team does that really well, and they'll also meet with council people and other stakeholders that we collectively identify for them. I mean, they can tell us who they want to meet with, but we need to also tell them who we want them to meet with. So once they're under contract, I think we're talking about September, basically, that we'll have an initial conversation with them and map out exactly what we want them to do over the course of the year. So we're really excited that even though it's taking a while, we have them under almost there. Next item was the neighborhood council update. I'm not sure, Tom, if you want to share any information about the commission, the $100,000 commission project that we've been talking about. I might have more information than you do on that. Tom, you need to unmute yourself, please. Tom, can you? Thank you.
I have no information to share at this point.
Okay, well, I'll pick up where you left off then, just with just a tiny bit of more information. Basically, the neighborhood council received an information survey so that we could identify, so that they can identify for us where they would want to consider having a large commission in their neighborhoods. And we Emily and Tom met with them 2 months ago, and at their meeting last month or beginning of this month, I met with them, and, you know, just to let them know that they can, if they have any questions, you know, just a follow-up basically. And this is not on the top of their list of things to do. So one of the things that is going to have to happen is a plan B. Initially, it seemed like it was a no-brainer to go directly to the neighborhoods and have them choose a location, but this is not something that they're jumping up and, you know,
Oh,
have a whole bunch of locations for us. So we're gonna have to identify another way. In addition to, you know, working with the neighborhoods, what other ways can we find to have some large locations in neighborhoods that don't currently have a lot of artwork? Phil,
so
What
I have a
didn't, what
question.
didn't
sorry.
work?
I'm sorry.
What didn't work? I mean, why it didn't?
Well,
go
it's
anywhere?
not that hasn't worked, because June 2nd is the deadline. We just haven't heard any questions. Nobody is saying, you know, me, I want it in my neighborhood.
So of all the neighborhood councils, nobody so far has responded positively.
Well, they responded positively at the meeting.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I mean, nobody has returned the survey identifying. Okay,
Correct.
Yeah, so my question is why? Where did we go wrong? Or what happened? I mean,
Well, we don't know.
I mean, it's,
have we asked them?
Well, that's why I just said they have 2 meetings, so we attended both of their meetings,
uh-huh,
and June 2nd is the deadline, so, you know, that's end of next week.
Could we send out an email maybe to them, reminding them that the deadline is coming up
Sure.
for this outstanding opportunity, you know, to do something in their neighborhood at no cost to them?
It seemed like it was a no-brainer, so
you
Right.
sent it to every chair, or you sent it to who?
we send it to the president of all of the coordinating committees, and she is like, it's like an octopus. She,
Oh, yeah, wait, let me ask the question again. Did you send it to all the neighborhood councils or just to the neighborhood coordinating council?
well, it's one and the same, the neighborhood
No,
coordinating
no, no,
council.
no, no,
No,
No,
no.
it's not.
No, the neighborhood coordinating council, my experience with them is they're a dead body. You put information in there, it doesn't go out to the rest of the community. It just doesn't.
Do
I
we
may be
have an
wrong.
email, and do we have an email list of the councils, the individual councils?
Yes, and it's the same list that they use in order to,
But did they use it? Did they actually send it out?
that was the
Doubtful,
request.
doubtful. I think,
Well, I'll find out. I mean, maybe I just need to reach out to 1 or 2 people on the list and find out if they got the information.
sure,
Yeah, because my experience has been the same as Phil's.
Okay,
I've always had better luck going directly
yeah,
when we were doing a project with Cal Berkeley, the conversations, I can't recall it now, but it really worked better with going one-on-one than going through the Cal. I think it's appropriate to follow what we did, to follow protocol and go to them. But then the follow-up, I think, is on us to be more directly in contact with the neighborhood council chairs.
I think you're right, Flo. Yeah,
duly noted.
Thank you. That kind of leads, I don't know that the application can we move on or not?
Yeah, I could keep on going to the next item. And basically, we could maybe extend that deadline too. That might help.
yeah.
Oh, that's a good, now see, that's a good reason to reach out to them, is to let them know that you're extending the deadline. That's a very good reason to reach out to them.
Okay, I think I did receive feedback from someone from the city manager's office saying that that we needed to be more aggressive with the outreach, but when I pointed that out to members of our committee, I felt like they're expecting me to do all the work, and I can do some of it, but this is the place where we need to have other people. You know, if there are 44 neighborhoods, I can't reach out to all of them. So,
But it's one, you can simplify, just send one email to all of them. And then once, if you want to divide it up among the people, Tom and Emily, to follow up with whoever responds, I think so. But I think if we start with one contact from you to the individual council chairs. I think that will spark some response. I really do.
Okay. I'll try that because, but yeah.
I
Sure.
mean, that's one email. If that doesn't work, then,
Well, they've already received the email is what I'm saying. I rewrote the
but
letter.
I'm just, even if they have, and I really don't think they have, but I can't prove it.
Another
but
point of
Even
contact.
if they have, here you got a reason. We're getting in touch to let you know we've extended the deadline.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, then the next item was the Pride event. I'm not sure, Phil, if you got any more information for us to proceed.
Okay, point of order. I don't think you need to be doing the committee reports. I think I need to be facilitating that part of the
Okay,
agenda.
sorry.
That's all right. You were about to ask Phil to talk about which, the volunteer outreach?
No, the Pride event, which was next to the two projects for the budget for next year. And he has.
I don't see that on my agenda.
Page, because I'm reading off of the report that I gave for Linson.
Oh, you're still doing the PAC report.
This is part of the PAC report, yeah.
Oh, God, I thought you were doing the committee reports. Okay, my
Well, no,
apologies.
It is a committee report. It's a PAC committee report.
I know, but
Yeah.
never mind.
Got it.
But let me know when you're done with the PAC report and then we'll move on.
Okay. We had been asked, if you remember, about thinking about items that we would like to fund next year, what kind of projects we'd like to do. Which there may be many, but one thought I had was organizations in Richmond that already have set up festivals or events or presentations or whatever it is, that we should support them. And Pride Day was one of them. It could be Cinco de Mayo, it could be Juneteenth, it could be any one of a number of things, powwow, but those are all cultural events put on by a group. And I think we should support them, $5,000 or whatever, So that, anyway, that's my thought about one thing I'd like to see next year.
I think that's a great idea. Is that within the purview of what the Public Art Committee can do with its funds?
Well, technically, I'm not sure. I think we can.
Well, if their project is a mural or something that's related to public art, then it's possible. So we just have to do some more research on that one.
A Pride celebration is a cultural event. It doesn't have to be a mural, or it doesn't have to be a sculpture. Performing arts it's almost under the category of performing arts in a sense. Juneteenth, that's a cultural event. It's not a mural, So anyway, I think we can use those.
Well, here's an idea. Could we possibly support them by being a kind of a sponsor to the tune of $5,000?
Sure.
I mean,
Whatever.
and maybe as a part of that, we make a banner, which gives us a visual representation there, rather than just giving them the money. If we say that, I mean, if we can't give them the money, then maybe if they have booths or they have tables or they have some way like that, that we could contribute.
Sure.
When I say we, I mean the PAC.
Well, RACC had the booth at Pride one year, a few years ago. Remember that? That was fun.
Okay, that's good. Well, if the PAC is willing to put some money behind it, then I think everybody will welcome our participation.
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to do a little bit more research. So in June, we'll come back with a strategy. How's that?
That sounds good.
Sure.
Okay. All right. I'd like to move on to the Uquay Park didactic signage. I sent samples out a couple of weeks ago. I haven't received any comments from anyone, so I'm assuming everyone just loves what they saw. But
Yeah, I did.
I'm also waiting to hear from Karina Gould and her daughter and Michelle Seville and a few other stakeholders who were worked on the project from the very beginning to find, receive their input as well. So within the next 2 weeks, hopefully I'll receive some feedback and so that the graphic designer can move forward. And
I had one comment about that.
yep,
I don't think our logo should be very large. And whatever other, don't you have to put more than one, just our logo, the city's logo, somebody else's logo or whatever? How many do you have to have on it?
well, the three that we're talking about would be two that you just mentioned, the cities, the Art Commission, and the Ohlone Federation.
Uh-huh.
Those are the three that we're talking about.
Okay, I don't know proportion wise, but I'm just saying, I don't think they should be really large,
Okay. All right. So when we're finished, when the graphic designer is finished with the package, you guys are going to see all three parts together. The first part is the directional signage that lets people know that the park is there. Second part is a didactic signage that tells the story using the information that was in the brochure that's already been vetted by a lot of people. And then the last part is the botanical markers, which will go into the into the plant beds. So that's what the graphic designer is working on now. So within the next 30 days, she'll come back with that part. So we have a package to pretty much approve all at one time in June, actually, hopefully. Okay, I'm gonna move on. I passed on the,
Winifred, I'm sorry.
yeah,
What about that cracked sign? Remember when we were out there? Is
yeah.
that true?
Well, Yuki is still in Japan. I
Okay.
sent him pictures and I have to wait for him to return before we can talk about it more. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, you can't get nothing past you, Phil. That's
What was
good.
what was cracked? What was cracked?
On the granite stone, if you're facing the park and you're on the left-hand side, the first path has the poem. And it looks like someone maybe has stepped on the stone on the edge. It was like a rough edge. And there's a line crack that if someone keeps on walking on it, the whole thing is going to crack.
Oh, too bad.
So yeah, I'm sure that nobody ever anticipated that kids would be walking on
Yeah.
it. So that's why this other signage is not going to be on the ground. It's going to be lifted and a pedestal style, like what they call the National Park Service style. So
Great.
we won't have that problem.
We live and learn.
This is true. So the next item is the Arts and Culture April project updates, which I've sent to everybody just to let you see all the different projects that I'm working on right now. The highlight of my week has been these encroachment plans, the encroachment permit plans for the banner installations for the Richmond Main Street Initiative and for Fred Franklin. And the next one is going to be for Spark, which is the mural installation for the senior center. All of those projects have to have cones, for pedestrian traffic, not to walk underneath where the bucket lifts or the scissor lifts are. And there's a whole process and there are fees associated. And so those are the fees we're not passing on to the artists, those are fees that we will pay for. And I learned this past week that we also will be paying for staff time to help install all of these banners, because folks, in some cases, the artist went directly to the Public Works and spoke with someone who told them, no problem, we'll do it for you. And then, of course, that translates into, once I ask the question, I get a different answer. Oh, by the way, it's, you have a form that you have to fill out and it's a cost, what we call cost recovery. So that, because it's gonna, there's 20 banners by one person and then 32 essentially by the other, which are gonna take 3 or 4 to 5 days each, you know, for, so it's time. Time is money.
Who's doing
Well-
32 banners?
Well, it's 16 actual banners for Fred Franklin, but they're double-sided. And that means that there's 2 for each pole, not painted on both sides.
Oh, I didn't know there's that many.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, I've been nice and busy. Last week, as part of my quote unquote vacation, I was in Washington DC for the Americans for the Arts Conference, and I'll provide a summary another time, but it was very enlightening, and it's nice to see what's going on across the country. The next project is item 8B, and that's the Caltrans beautification project. So the short story is that starting in July, hopefully, we're going to be starting another project, which is a $1.3 million that Caltrans is going to contribute to a couple of murals on their underpasses. And also they're going to pay for the restoration of John Worley's 2 murals
Whoa,
as part of this
Oh.
package. So
that's sweet.
that really
Very
is
nice,
nice that
very
money's gonna
nice.
come out of that pool of money instead of us having to take it from our existing pool of funds, so we can spend that money in a different way.
Bravo, well done.
Yeah, geez.
Yeah, so we have till December 2023 for those projects to be installed. And like I said, next month I'll tell you more, but the bottom line is that 2 of the 3 murals that we're talking about are across from where the existing John Worley murals are that have to be restored. And for those of you who are familiar with his work, they're historical, they tell stories about Richmond. So we
Mhm.
can't just put some random image on the mural across the street from it that has no relationship to what you see. I mean, we could, but that's,
Yeah, but it'd be a wasted opportunity.
yeah, that's the way I feel about it. So
Yeah,
John is hiring a couple of muralists who worked with him 20 years ago when they were very young, and now they're mature painters. So for instance, they might be some of the first people that we look to for the design for these new murals, because they're already familiar with the story. And also, it might basically become what would be called a limited call for muralists, especially given the fewer people that we have to work with, and it takes a lot of time. But it also will allow for an administrative person to be paid from this pool of money as a contractor to help manage the
Nice.
project for that
Nice.
18-month period.
excellent.
So it's pretty exciting that I can share this with you now. It's something that we've been working on for over 6 months, but until they actually, you know, tell you that you can move forward, I didn't feel like it was ready to be discussed. So that's the short story for you. Okay,
Awesome. Very, very good news, Winifred. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. So we actually combined a couple of these in what we just did.
I was just thinking that same thing.
Yeah.
We kind of segued into the staff report a little bit.
Yeah, the only item I didn't really talk about was the MPA mini grant, the new application. So Shawnee and I are working on the electronic version so that we are making it easier for everybody. It should be ready. Well, tomorrow is hopefully the final work session that she and I have, so that next week we're ready to distribute it. So we'll be using the same mailing list that we had last year, along with quite a few new people who have added themselves to the registry. And the call's only going to be out for about a month. There will be what they call information session. It's not going to be a mandatory orientation for a variety of reasons. Shawnee and I have had a lot of conversations back and forth. We're trying to model what has been successful with other grants within the city that she works on, and to have a mandatory orientation she doesn't feel is completely necessary. We will make sure that this information session is recorded and available online for anyone who is not able to come. And
Great.
it'll only be a 1-hour session. You know, keep it simple. It'll be on a Saturday. And there's some people who have applied for these before and they don't really need the mandatory, you know, part. So when I was speaking with one of the candidates, he was telling current candidates, he was saying, well, it's really not that difficult, you know, to do these applications if you just follow the instructions. So when he said that, that was hopeful. So anyway, the mini grant will be out within the next month. So by the deadline is the end of June. So in July, we'll have some kind of information to share with you. And then in September, if we need to have any interviews, that will be when we'll do them. We are not going to interview every single person like we have done in the past, try to streamline things. Okay?
So
And
narrow down the number,
yeah,
look at their applications, and then eventually interview just a few people at the meeting.
yeah, only the ones that we might have a lot of questions about, because some of them
Okay.
are going to be clear cut and
Let me suggest, we ran into a few problems with the current group because we didn't do enough upfront work, or, I mean, it's encroachment thing. A good example, we didn't really know about that. So I think we ought to do a little more scrutiny right in the beginning of these projects, after they've already been selected, after they're already started, to make sure there's those kinds of things don't slow them down or slow us down, Winifred down, because it all falls on her eventually. So just a thought about that.
well, good point, because, you know, the banners, quite frankly, are what are causing, not causing, but they're the ones that are requiring the extra. And either we don't do banners anymore. Or we have to charge, I don't want to say charge more, but they need to be paid more in order to know that they might have a $600 fee that they're going to have to pay for the encroachment permit. So right now, we tried to get a waiver for the encroachment permit and it's been denied.
Mm.
And it's going to be between $500 and $600 for each one of those permits that we're going to take out of the public art fund in order to pay for it, along with the staff time that it's going to take for those, you know, 3 or 4 sessions for staff to go out and do the installation for us. So it's, you're right, Phil.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Phil, as well, looking at what people are proposing to do and trying to see what is that going to require. But every session, there's something new. 2 sessions ago, it was the insurance. Then there was something else. And now it's
Yeah.
It all depends on what the grantees come wanting to do. And what is that, you know, extra does that require? Very good. I am so pleased in the time that I have sat on this commission to see the evolution of the application process. From I was putting all my files in a box from the 10-page that you had to, the 10 copies rather, that you had to deliver to Michelle, who then had, oh my God, we have come so far. And when I hear you say that the information session will be available online, oh, that's absolutely perfect. Because then if it's available, you can't say you don't know something that was discussed there. Yeah, that is excellent. I'm very, very pleased with the progress that we've made. And as they always say, the proof is in the pudding. What's working will show up. What's working will show up. I want to move on. It is 8:05. If you don't mind, I'd like to move on with the agenda, unless you had more of your staff report, Winifred.
No, I think I've shared enough, and plus you all have the full report. If you have any
Right.
questions.
It's very comprehensive, and I look forward to hearing more about the Americans for the Arts Convention, perhaps at the next meeting. What is happening with the volunteer outreach? Did that continue, or did we kind of let that go? I'm asking this not of you, of the whole,
Okay,
of you, we were all supposed to be getting people to volunteer. I haven't gotten anybody to volunteer. Has anyone stepped up to volunteer, completed the form?
Keno has, and she's been with us for 3 or 4 meetings, actually, both Public Art Advisory Committee meetings and commission meetings.
All right, she's paying her
Independent,
pre-commissioner
independent.
dues.
As a matter of fact, we can probably bring her in and find out exactly how she heard
I'd
about.
like to hear about her experience as a volunteer. Can we bring her in?
She's coming in now.
Would you all mind if we heard from her right now?
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah, she's coming in. We're trying to, find out ways that she can participate, find out what she wants to do to participate that will be productive. Keno, can you hear us?
She's
Can you
muted.
unmute yourself, please? Thank you.
Hello,
Yep.
good evening.
Hi. Can we see you?
Oh,
If possible. If not, we can hear you. There you go.
I think there we go, visual.
That's great.
Light changes.
Well, welcome. Can you tell us how you heard about the opportunity to support the Art Commission and the Public Art Advisory Committee that caused you to come in? Because you found out by yourself. I think you went online, or tell us how you found us.
Good evening. I
Good
was
evening,
actually,
Keno, welcome.
oh geez, thank you. I was interested in finding or identifying additional ways to get involved in the community, particularly in the realm of art, considering my passion for art and what I've been able to do with the DeYoung Museum earlier on in my volunteer career trajectory. So I actually just sought it out myself.
Mhm.
And one thing led to another, and I just kind of allowed myself to stay abreast what was taking place via the nicely and timely uploads on the website from the meetings. And I finally was brave enough to apply.
Thank you. We
And I'm
appreciate
here.
that.
So thank you for the welcome.
So, Keno, you say to apply, you apply to be a volunteer. Are you interested in applying to be a commissioner?
The application is actually for the latter.
For the commissioner? You've applied,
Yes.
oh, that is outstanding. That is wonderful. I'm glad to hear that.
So I had an opportunity to share with Keno the reasons, the circumstance, if you will, that we're in right now in terms of why new commissioners are not being appointed. And I think we have a opportunity to continue to work with Keno over the next couple of months, but until the next mayor is appointing new commissioners. So what we want to do is find a good fit for her in terms of how she can help as a volunteer, because there's certain things that she can do as a volunteer and certain things that she cannot do as a volunteer. So we'll work with her. As a matter of fact, with this public art advisory, with the public art master plan that we were talking about, they have a team of folks who are going to be going to these public meetings, like I said, farmers markets and festivals and things like that, just to kind of survey people. I don't know if that's the kind of thing that you would have any interest in, just kind of hearing what people from the community have to say. It's one place to start. But you'll have to kind of let us know as you see the agendas. You can see the different kind of projects that we're working on. If there's a commission that comes up, I think there might be an opportunity for you to be on an art selection panel. And that is something that you wouldn't have to have any special training for or anything like that. So when we have this $100,000 art commission in the neighborhoods, for instance, that might be a place for you to participate. And I don't know if have you been on an art selection panel before? Kino?
Hi, as a curator, we've selected artists to exhibit. So I guess in a sense, it's similar to a panel.
Yeah.
Exhibitions for the gallery typically last anywhere from 3 to 6 months. And that was after my term with the DeYoung, and that was a smaller independent gallery.
Are you an artist?
I am a creative, yes.
Okay, because I heard you talk about curating. I didn't know which side of the artistic fence you were on, the making
Oh,
or the
sure.
presenting or the curating or the producing, or which?
Yeah, I've had some experience in production. A lot of my experience has been in production, and I have hobbies.
Okay, and what did you do with the DeYoung?
I was with the Keith Ehring Foundation, or the Keith Ehring Foundation had an exhibit. And so I was working with the educational programs
Oh, lovely.
for elementary school visits, and pretty much being a educational lead slash integration docent type of personnel.
Lovely experience.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing a little bit about yourself with us.
Let me ask, other than voting, can you think of anything else a person couldn't do as a volunteer? They could do everything,
You're speaking to Winifred, right?
well, in general, but everybody in a sense.
Well, I'm sorry, Philip. The only reason I thought that was a question for Winifred is because she's like our point person with the city
Well, it's
for
mainly,
what volunteers can and cannot do.
well, she's the one that mentioned that, so, but I'm just opening it up. Sure, she's the head honcho here.
No, Phil, I work for you guys, but I think you're right, though, in terms of the voting. That would be the primary thing that she wouldn't necessarily be able to do unless she was a panelist for a project. So she would be the resident stakeholder, if you will.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
we have
yeah,
art.
good,
Yeah.
good positioning.
Yeah,
Okay,
That's perfect timing. She's coming in at a great time. That project sounds so exciting.
it will be.
The neighborhood council project. That's wonderful. And things work out the way they're supposed to. So thank you, Kino. Do you have any further comments, or we're gonna move on and see if we can't close our meeting out early? Okay, then I'm gonna move on. Does anyone have any grantee events to announce that are going on that we need to be aware of? I want to mention that I know our public, Cordell mentioned the play at Maskers, the name of which just flew out of my head. That is a production at Maskers. However, there's a grantee project that we funded called What Women Want that's also taking place at Maskers on the set of the play that Cordell was speaking of. And it's the Father's Day, Juneteenth weekend. And they have made tickets available to the commission. If any of you would like to attend, there's two opportunities. There's a 1 o'clock matinee on that Saturday, the 18th of June. And there is an evening performance at 7 on Sunday, the 19th, Juneteenth and Father's Day. So is anyone interested in a ticket or a pair of tickets to that? And Keno, I will include you in this if you are interested in attending. I'm going to be attending Sunday at 7, the Sunday night performance. Is anyone else interested in a pair of tickets? Tom, how many do you want, 1 or 2? 2, and when?
Tom, which night? Unmute yourself, Tom.
You want Saturday?
Do I have to decide right now?
You want to email me? I'll
Okay.
wait. Let's say, what's tomorrow, Friday? I'd like to let them know by the close of business tomorrow.
Okay,
So email me, but I'll put you down for 2 and you
Yep.
let me know when. It's Saturday at 1 or Sunday at 7.
okay.
Is anyone else interested in going?
Yeah, Flo, I'd like to go there at the same time you were, Sunday at 7,
Sunday at 7, and how many do you want? 1 or 2?
just one.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll do Sunday at 7 too.
okay. Anyone else interested in attending? Okay, thank you. Then I will get this information that there will be 1, 2, 4 tickets for Sunday at 7 representing the RACC. That's it for me for grantee events. Community partner events, Juneteenth, Richmond Main Street. I'm not sure what that refers to specifically.
It means I need more details.
Oh, okay, all right.
I wanted to make sure to jot them down so I didn't forget that they are
I
definitely.
got an email from Richmond Main Street that they were collaborating with CoBiz to do a rooftop event at
Okay.
CoBiz. I don't remember. I get so many emails. I don't remember when it is, but I know it's coming up.
I'll find out and distribute once they send it to me.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
And so Juneteenth is happening outside in the park.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
What date? What's the date again?
June 19th.
19th, okay.
Are they doing the Sunday or the Saturday? Winifred, do you know?
I don't know. I'll have to verify that.
Okay, all right. And Love Your Block, is there some activity going on there?
Just to say that I believe I sent the monthly newsletter to everyone, just so you could see the different kind of activities they do have during the course of the month. A lot of them are education oriented for school kids, after school programs, and they have people signing up for summer programs and that kind of thing. But also it basically gives an example of what the public art master plan team will be able to use as a sample of these pop-ups that they're talking about. Because at first I'm thinking COVID, is kind of preventing a lot of activities. And then I'm learning about all these different activities that are going on, whether there's COVID or not COVID. So people are just trying to be COVID friendly and mask up, but people are getting back out. People have been cooped up for a little bit too long, and
Yeah,
it's really nice to see that these activities are happening. So it won't be an issue for the public art master plan team to find enough outdoor activities for them to do their pop-ups. Like I mentioned, the farmers market is one of the best places that they have found in every community across the country, not just even in the Bay Area. That's where they go. So like I said, I passed it on to everyone, and I'm not trying to overload you with attachments and emails when it comes to the actual meeting. So that's why in between, I'm sending things out as I get them. So I'll continue to do that if that's okay with you.
you're continuing a fine tradition.
So the only thing I wanted to share is that the poet laureate last month I don't think I was able to share this. David Flores and the Youth Poet Laureate were supposed to speak at the city council meeting on the last Thursday of the month, and their item did not get on till after 10 o'clock at night. So by 10:30, they were gone when the item was up. So this past Tuesday, however, David apparently was able to read, and by the time I got online thinking it was going to be at 8 or 9 o'clock, he had already finished.
Oh,
So-
great.
So he was able to do the reading, and since the young lady Ariana is a high school student, to ask her to be available that late was just not reasonable. So I reached out to Rise to find out if they had someone that, not someone, if she wanted to read, and I never heard from them, so
Yeah.
I didn't push it.
I think the reason that you deferred on that is the right one. It's a school night. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if they can't, they can't be sure what time they're going to be, allow the person to speak. It makes it a little frustrating when you think you're going to be on at 6:30 and 11 o'clock comes around and they still haven't finished their agenda. So anyway, there we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, is there any business? I believe we have covered every item on our agenda of business for tonight. I want to thank all of the commissioners for showing up. And Winifred will follow up with those items that she mentioned. She will let us know about. I wanted to also, when we were talking about the grantee projects, I think that those libraries are so cute.
The little library.
They are, I love the concept, but they turned out to look so very, very beautiful. I'm very, very proud of the work that our artists are doing here in Richmond. They are representing themselves and the city very, very well. I just couldn't be prouder of everything that I've seen that comes out. And I've sat on this commission for a while, but we have a uniformly great group of people this season. And I'm really, really glad at everything I've seen. And even those we haven't heard from yet, I have faith that they'll get on board and do what they were supposed to do in a timely fashion.
Yeah. I agree.
Clearly, I need to stop talking.
Well, the last thing I want to share, and hopefully you already were screaming in enthusiasm and excitement earlier when you saw the Osprey bird. Hopefully everybody had a chance to open up the
Oh,
Osprey bird.
God, it's so beautiful.
Wow. That's all I
Yeah.
could say. So I was supposed to do a studio visit today with the developer, but Ron has COVID. So I have been doing a really good job of avoiding people with COVID, and I'm not about to start now. So the bottom line is that the Osprey Bird project is going to be much bigger than we originally discussed. Tom, hopefully you had a chance to see, and Melissa, you haven't had a chance to look today to see what was said.
And so they don't have to play the next.
So-
Yeah, I actually, I was in the studio with Ron a couple days ago, shooting some video of the work they're doing right now.
Okay,
Cool.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
You knew he
it's
was exposed
stunning.
though, right? You've been
Pardon?
exposed. He's in quarantine. Just
This
so
was
you know.
before the COVID announcement.
Oh, okay. All right, good. So
I
yeah,
got a test if you need one, Tom.
I'll get a test.
okay. Well, yeah, Tom, thank you for doing the video. It's amazing what's going to happen there, but they're not going to be finished until the end of July. So it's taking a little longer, but it's going to happen. Tom, you want to say something? I mean, Phil?
Oh, as you can say, I've got an extra test kit if you want, Tom.
No, we have plenty.
Yeah, I also wanted to mention that the Warriors blew out Dallas tonight to win the
Oh,
championship.
did they ever? Did they ever? 100, but it got close at the end, 120 to
Yeah.
110.
Yeah,
Both
But
of
it's
them.
a done deal.
yeah, great.
Right, way to go,
Yes,
Warriors.
I've been multitasking.
You're
There you
not
go. Me
alone, it
too.
looks
Me
like.
too.
Well, imagine if we had your complete attention, we would have been finished 15 minutes ago. No, just kidding, just kidding, just
It wouldn't have
kidding.
been worth it though.
And on that note, may
But
I
you
have
know,
a motion to
I'm sorry,
adjourn?
can I just add one thing? Because what this does demonstrate is that if we have, we can combine both of these meetings together, I think, and be done within 2 hours.
Absolutely.
So for anyone who was really concerned about that, I think if we're strategic and we don't repeat ourselves, I think we can do this. So, okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
So moved to adjourn.
May I have a second? May I have a second, please?
All right.
Good night, all.
May I have a second, please, for the record?
Second.
Thank you.
Third,
Thank you.
fourth.
It's unanimously approved. We are hereby adjourned. See you next month. And some of you
Thank
I'll
you.
see on Father's Day.
Hope
Okay,
you feel better, Blue.
thanks, everybody.
Thank you.